Morning, Green Prix F24 teams. Um, this is a first attempt, but I think I'm going to try this if it helps. I'm calling this a virtual team meeting. What it's The intent of this is to try to get some information out ahead of time. Make this maybe 15 minutes at the most for the teams to go through, and then at the actual drivers meeting for the race itself, we'll have less to cover because you guys have heard some of this before. Right? And if folks like it, I'll look for feedback on this. I know you guys are busy, but I figured this much time spent can preclude some questions. It can also allow teams to kind of pause the video and look at the course map or discuss some of the logistics of the Green Prix coming up the 28th. I say that's the test and tune day, and I'll show more of the schedule here in a minute. And of course, the main part of the weekend is the 29th for our middle and high school teams. Okay. So yep, back to the Southern Bell parking lot like we were last fall if you were part of that race. So let's start with the website. Just for kind of step you through it, there's a bunch of information on the Green Spaces website, and we're putting more and more out there so that you can go to it as a reference as opposed to having to. There's nothing wrong if you have a question, send an email to Madison. She'll get it to me, she'll get it to Bill, whoever needs to see it. But there's a lot of info here. So if you guys just Google Green Spaces Chattanooga, you can see the web address right here, all one word, .org. It'll take you to the home page, and then there's programs or events. Either one will get you to the Green Prix. So just drop down, click Chattanooga Green Prix, and you'll pop up to the page Racing in the Rain, and then scroll down. Yep, next event. And here's the tabs that we've developed. So the race schedule, that's a singular, it'll open up a Word document, which I have right here as well. But the advisor resources is chock full of things. And we've tried to break it down to both F24 and Goblin so we don't, just have one big mass of info. If you want to get a hold of another advisor at a different school and you need their contact info, that's there. And then this, you guys don't really care about. We're developing a worker and volunteer list as well with the same idea. So we have all the information on the website for ease of access. So there we go, the F24 schedule of the day, registration map. I'll bring that up here in a second. Some training documents Bill Perry's worked out as far as driving and using your mirrors and all kinds of things. This full manual is actually the build manual that comes with the kits. So depending on how cars have moved around, or maybe you lost yours, or maybe this one's just easier to access at some point if you need to go back and look something up, the rules and sups that go along with the race coming up on the 29th, that curriculum is kind of a step through for the teams and students and advisors as to some things to look at, things to do, maintaining the battery. One of those we've got over here with the Goblins, you guys don't care, tire change, because their tires are kind of a pain in the neck to change. Your tech inspection checklist, that's the Chattanooga version, not the full Green Power version. We've simplified it a bit, but it's a good thing to step through that day or two before coming to the track to make sure your car's ready for tech inspection, and it helps you really kind of breeze through that process to make sure you didn't forget anything. I do that all the time with my race car as well. The presentation rubric remains the same as the spring race. If you were there for the spring, it'll probably change spring 2023, but that remains the same. And then just some additional resources that maybe apply to both Goblins and F24s. Um, the course map, again, I've got that already called up, so I'll bring it to you. If you saw Madison, I believe, sent out an email to all of the team advisors. We have a driver safety quiz, and she's going to want to have the teams turn in a completed version of that. So you can do it ahead of time, do it together. I want to say it was 13 questions I built, a lot of them around the idea of what flags are and what they mean. And then if you want to check how you did, there's the key. So don't just go to the key and then you copy it and turn it in. The idea is to actually go over and review this. Okay. Getting started if you are new to this, fairly new, and then some other bits and pieces. How to purchase parts. The backlog is still massive on getting parts from Green Power, but we've developed a couple suitable alternatives, easy for me to say, for parts, tires, etc. Okay. The waivers, all that paperwork that's mandated by insurance, honestly, but that's the way it is. And some other things, flags, battery, what class am I in? You guys, I've seen the registration forms for this upcoming race, and it looks right to me. And Chris Sinard will just double check that when we go through tech to make sure you're in the right class for racing. And then Bill Perry developed this battery care instructions. Basically, with the batteries and the chargers specifically that the teams have, you can leave the batteries on those chargers, and then once they get up to full level, the charger goes into maintenance mode and just keeps them nice and topped up. So in this week leading up to the race, I would go through and cycle all 6 for the F24s, all batteries through the charging system, and then you guys can, if you have a battery health check device, I'll have one, Bill will have one at the race, decide which of the batteries are your best. So maybe if you're going to do the test and tune, use the second 2 best, charge them back up and have your best saved for the race itself. Okay, the bottom piece here is a video I developed, Green Prix Racing Basics, and that's linked here through the website. It's also on YouTube, and that's what I'm going to do this as well, to put more information out there in a video format to go through with the teams. Okay? And what I have, let me just show you the agenda from that. So what I went through, and it's a little bit long-ish, I tend to talk a lot, but a review of flags and a fairly in-depth view of flags. So what it means when the yellow flag comes off. Do we throw another green? The answer is no. Once the yellow flag is removed, now the course is back to green, either in that section or if it's a full course yellow, when all the yellow flags come in, now the full course is back to green. A little discussion on tires and contact patch and grip and what it does in the rain, and how much a tire can give you. Some basics on passing, and this was kind of the flags in the passing. That was the emphasis of this video. How to pass safely, how to preclude accidents when a car is moving up inside you on a corner, that you don't go to the apex and push them into the barrier. A little bit about pit road, because that can be chaotic, and then some common questions. So I would also recommend, time permitting, to go through this whole video on all of these, especially the flag procedures. Okay, so that pretty much steps through the website. Lots of information there. And of course our sponsors that make this whole thing happen. And some happy pictures. Yay. All right, so let's look at the schedule. I'm doing this on a backup computer because my primary decided to crash a week before the Green Prix. That's perfect, isn't it? So here's the schedule, and that's what you'll get when you click on the link on the website and blow it up a little bit. So for Friday, as in the past, we're going to have an optional test and tune day. You can see the times on there, and that's all predicated on the Goblins getting done at their scheduled time. But we're going to have an hour of open track testing if you want to get drivers some experience, if you want to do a little tweaking on the car and see how it helps. That'll be available. Then the track will be cold. We are going to have security on site down at the Southern Bell parking lot. So it's up to you. If you've got a trailer, you want to lock the car to the trailer, lock up the trailer, take it home, bring it back, your call. But I'm going to leave some of my stuff. The SCCA trailer will be left there overnight. The timing tower will be left there overnight. And then for Saturday, you can see what we've done is try to stagger the registration times just a little bit between the middle and high school teams. I know some teams have both. So just show up, at the earlier time. That's fine. And we'll try to get you through there as quick as we can registration-wise so that we can start the tech and presentation process. And those are really kind of an as ready. So once your team's ready to do tech, ready to do presentations, you can go ahead and get those knocked out. Once those are done, I'm hoping you have some time available. So let's say they've already started tech and it looks like you're 5th, 6th, 7th in line to do it. Take a minute and go out and walk the track. I know you guys will be familiar. It's close to the same as last year, but get a feel for the corners and the pit lane entry so we can get that under control, have less incidents on pit lane. Right? Drivers meeting. Again, the first thing I'm going to ask at the drivers meeting, did everybody watch this video? And look, I know it's a little bit late. This is some time stamping it on a Saturday. The race is next Friday, but I'm hoping everybody has a chance to go through this quickly. And you can see the times for middle school, high school. The battery charging will be available just like in the spring of this year with the big solar powered charger. Again, with you guys having all the sets of batteries, you may or may not need it, but it is available. A lunch break, and then middle school, high school, 90-minute endurance race. Before we give out awards, we're going to ask that we get some help from all the teams to help push the barriers into the corners. get them out of the way, and then we'll do awards. Okay, and you can see the note on battery charging. You guys can read that yourself. Okay, so arrival. Michael Walton at Green Spaces put together, nope, this one, a map, and part of the idea behind this is to try to unclog the registration process with all the teams coming in. I want to say we have 14-ish with the middle and high schoolers. So the idea, one, this upper map, this is the race and pit area, so that's restricted. Spectators welcome all along Riverfront Parkway. We will have a set of bleachers set up here and one down at the end like we did last fall. And then there's public parking for parents, etc. So what we want is the teams to come in, and on the west side of the Oljati Bridge, we're going to have an entrance um, lane set up, maybe 2 lanes if we can, and get the teams in, get the registration process knocked out with it right there on site. What we've also done is put in a provision for teams to park one support vehicle in under the pits against the far edge of the pit wall. So that vehicle that's full of your helmets and head socks and bits and pieces, all that, park that vehicle here so you guys are right immediately available to go and get anything you might need. If you have another parent or somebody else coming in with the car, like a pickup or a trailer like Sequoia has, go ahead, you can bring it in, stop. You can take the car off the trailer and push it over to the pits. And then that car, if it's not the support vehicle, go ahead and exit and park. There's parking here, there's parking along Riverfront Parkway. This area we're trying to reserve completely for our volunteers and staff because they're spending their time and weekend helping us run this, but there may be a few spaces here. We'll see how that works out. But we'll try to be helpful and allow for uncloggage. So we may end up moving you around all the way over to here so that we don't have cars sitting out on Riverfront Parkway. But we'll see how this works, and we'll try to keep doing that to allow better flow. While I've got that up, I've already talked about the Racing Basics video. Here's the map. This is really just stolen from last fall's race. What we're going to do is Bill and I are going to do a little bit of what we can do, at least, on making this a different-ish corner. There's only so much you can do with this parking lot, but to try to take it from just the strict kind of oval configuration to a little more what we call technical, a little more maybe slowing down, having to steer the car, not to induce accidents, mind you. The pit lane will be set up just like it was last fall with a big entrance and a sign. So racing speed until you enter the pit lane. Now you're here, start slowing down because there's people crashing here and there are people crashing into my son Bryce here at the end. So enter the pit lane, get slowed down, get stopped, get your pusher to maximum to pick you up and push you at a walking pace to your driver change area, which is going to be your pit stall. Do that as quick as you can and then back out to pit exit. We'll stop you here for just a quick safety inspection, make sure everything's buckled up, your helmet's on correctly, etc. And then the guys here, it'll probably be Patrick or my son Michael, will let you go as quick as we can. We're not trying to add, time to your pit stop, but also looking at the flow of cars. If there's a wad of 3 cars coming through turn 3, we may wait another 5 seconds and let you go out where you've got more clear track to get back on and get your brain engaged. Okay. You can see on here spectators. One, for students, we'll have the bleachers like we did here, and this will be where the drivers meeting takes place. And then for the parents and others, we'll have a set of bleachers here and a set of bleachers here. And of course, you can wander around and watch anywhere along Riverfront Parkway. That public parking area is off map just a little bit. It's over here kind of behind my head. Okay, so that's the course map and layout. The Black Flag Station, we don't, just because the layout of the parking lot, the Black Flag Station will go back to, if you remember from last fall, it was kind of up and under the bridge at the far southern piece of the pit area. So that'll be our Black Flag Station for you to come in. Let's not do that, but passing under yellow, causing accidents, erratic driving, things like that. Come in, get your, here's what you did wrong. If it was an accident, you're probably going to sit there for a little while. But if it's a simple pass under yellow, make sure you're paying attention. Don't do it again. Go back on your way. All right. So that's kind of the gist of, we'll cover a few more. We'll hit the flags one more time, of course, and then specify how we're going to do the specifics of the practice qualifying. We'll do that like last time where you go out, it's just an open time block that allows teams to go out and get drivers accustomed to the course. While that's going on, we will have the timing system set up. And so at the end of your practice qualifying, we'll take a look at all the lap times and then grid you guys for the race by best lap time. Okay. Now again, I've mentioned this, I think, in all the drivers meetings before, but it's a common question. What if we don't get a time? What if our car was broke? Something happened? Well, if you've got it fixed and ready to race and it's gone through tech, just because you didn't get a qualifying session, you'll still get to start the race. You'll get a no time and you'll start at the back, but for a 90-minute endurance race, there's ample time to make up any of that short little I guess you could call it a penalty that you're starting in the back. It's not much of one. Better that you can race than you didn't get a qualifying time, you got to go home. All right, let me see if I covered everything. Again, trying to keep this, I'm going to the 16-minute mark. If you have questions, if something in this presentation keys a thought that, hey, what about this? Go ahead and shoot that to Madison this next week before the race, and she'll get it to whoever needs it to try to get you an answer. And it may be something good that we bring up at the drivers meeting, because if you have a question, probably everybody else does. So looking forward to it. I'm trying not to look at the weather until we get a little closer to the race, but let's hope for it won't be as cold as last November. I can about guarantee that. Okay, good. I will see all of you at the Saturday race, maybe some of you at the Friday practice session. Looking forward to it.